Spires and Magic, Mrs. Shadows, Part 2. Pierre sat in his wheelchair with a glare at his hydromatic eels of blue eyes. The news of his buried nemesis, Norman Osborn, left a lingering effect on his psyche, evident by the pulsing throbs coursing through his cranium, and not his stomach had tightened into. The moment Twilight relayed news of Discord's sudden visit to Princess Celestia, every pony, including the Spirit of Chaos and excluding Trixie, "Hey!" were teleported to the secluded, secure throne room in Camelot, thanks to Princess Luna. Now every pony could do was wait for Princess Cadence's shining armor to arrive. Peter was without a Spider-Man costume, but it wasn't needed, considering Cadence and Discord already knew his secret identity. The only pony they didn't know was Shining Armor, and Peter did not know his relation to Princess Cadence was. Yet, Parker could only believe he was trustworthy. For every pony he met who learned his secret at Equestria, it proven to be thus far. It's still unnerving that their worst enemy knew his biggest secret. Peter rolled his eyes before stealing a glance at the Chimera. He manipulated the figures and was stained glass and danced wildly at his command. Based off of first impressions, Discord didn't come off as evil. It's clear he was a jerk, granted, but if anything, Peter was grateful that one bad guy to discover his secret wasn't a psychopath or a murderer. However, every pony else was not taking Discord lightly. Exercising caution, Princess Celestia gave Twilight, Pinkie, Fluttershy, Rainbow, Applejack, and Rarity the respective elements of harmony on the probability Discord might try something underhanded. Princess Luna stood by her sister's side with a venomous scowl and aimed at the Spirit of Chaos. Not for Celestia's plea to practice restraint, the Moon Goddess would have struck down Discord. He had information regarding a potentially greater threat to their world. For every pony's safety, they had to hear him out. At least long enough to see if his words were true. Pierre stood his gaze about, glancing at each enchanted necklace his friends wore, but his brow furrowed at the different piece of jewelry Twilight kept over her head, a golden crown with a gem matching her cutie mark in his hair. His eyes widened to realization. Each element was a reflection of his wielder, from Rainbow Dash's lightning bolt to Pinkie Pie's balloons. Under the circumstances of old, the stallion would have had difficulty to believe such simple pieces of jewelry held godly powers, could seal away evil for centuries. But I learned from personal experience that pessimism was ill-advised to keep in a world that thrived on magic. Elements of harmony, huh? Almost put Mr. Fantastic's ultimate nullifier to shame, Peter chuckled inwardly. But his upbeat demeanor was merely a front, hiding a fear buried within. Letting out a desolate sigh, the stallion's gaze fell to the ground. Osborn, are you really trying to chase me down? His mind continued to race, filling with thoughts centered around Osborn's possible intentions. There was virtually no need for the Green Goblin to seek out Spider-Man, even if there was so convoluted reasoning. How did he acquire the means to traverse between dimensions? Pierre exhaled, hating the technology capable of performing such a feat existed in his world, as well as the geniuses who could invent them. Where was the X-Men's blue furball Hank McCoy, crazy dictator megalomaniac Victor Von Doom, or billionaire playboy Tony Stark? The fact remained, it wasn't impossible for Osborn to travel to Equestria. Even so, reality was filled with infinite universes of various dimensions. It wasn't too long ago when Spider-Man teamed up with 3 alternate reality versions of himself to repair time and space. Osborn's pinpointing of Peter Parker's position required improbable precision. How Goblin Man's that was the burning question that played through Peter's mind relentlessly. Breaking his nose over his face, the stallion closed his eyes and shook his aching head. The sooner Discord answered questions, the better. Peter? Twilight whispered, freeing the stallion from his deep train of thought. Her hood fell over his own, prompting Peter's hazel blue gaze to meet with Twilight's closeted fire irises. Although he felt the mare looked silly with her crown, he could easily say she was beautiful as ever. Are you okay? You look troubled. Sliss curled in an easy, empty, insecure smile. Not really. Just one thing after another. Your big bad's here. My big bad's probably on the way. Peter rolled his eyes. That's my fault, I bet. Sighing, the stallion slowly returned his gaze to an injured leg. To make matters worse, I can't even help you out. The tone of his voice fell lower, revealing his air despair. The story of my life. I feel so useless right now. You always think everything's your fault. It's not. Despite her voice not raising above a whisper, sternness could be felt within, causing Pierre to look away shamefully. However, the mare rubbed the top of the stallion's hoof affectionately before smiling confidently. Remember, you're not alone. No matter what Discord or Osborne have planned, we'll see it through. She paused, allowing Pierre to see the mild flush forming in her cheeks. Together. Pierre shook his head, managing to give the lavender mare a matching smile. Once again, Twilight provided the assurance he needed, and watched away to see the doubts that plagued his heart. So long as he doubted himself, his superpowers would never return. Without Spider-Mate, Pierre would not be able to protect the girl he loved. Grrr. Glancing off to the side, the stallion's eyes widened at the sight of the others, who seemed to have heard the conversation. He relaxed, thinking of the supportive smile his friends offered. Pierre nodded with a grin. Of course, his best friends needed protection too. The lot of you are acting if I'm the villain, Discord vainly stated, earning a glare from every mirror in the room and furrowed a brow from Pierre. At the snap of the fingers from the spirit, the fingers of the glass stopped dancing, returning to normal as if nothing happened. As I am, I pose no threat to you. Unfortunately, there's not much the spirit could do without its body. The figure struck one final pose, prompting the chimera to let out an exasperated groan. With the exception of the small things, of course. If that's the case, you're taking a huge gamble coming here with the Thunder Gods and Friendship Express, Pierre said, folding his lips across his chest, ignoring the annoyed expression of Luna wore. If the elements of harmony sealed you away for hundreds of years while you were intact, by soul and all, what happens to they blast you now is Discord the jerky ghost. Discord scoffed, shrugging his shoulders following. Imprisonment for two, one for my body and the other for my spirit. Ugh, the chimera shuddered, loving the torment that would have followed such a fate. Considering I'm weakened, my sentence will last much longer than before, and I might not even have the privilege of wandering through the astral plane for the next 1,000+ years. Sounds boring, Pinky minstrelly stated, scratching the back of his head while the others nodded in agreement. Indeed. At the same moment, Discord suddenly appeared with his arm draped around Pierre's shoulder, earning a surprised yelp from the stallion. He had placed his talon over the cast on Parker's leg, which is exactly why I want to show every pony my sincerity. A bright beam of air she shot across the room, barely managing to miss Discord's head by a few centimeters. All eyes fell directly to the source, finding Luna with a piercing blank stare, aimed directly at the spirit of chaos. The color in the mare's eyes returned, but her scowl remained intact as she slowly walked over to peer at Discord's position. Once she stood only a couple of feet away, Luna paused and concentrated as much magical energy as she could into her horn. That was a warning shot, Discord! Should you hurt him, I guarantee the next will not miss! Trust me, I do not wish to incur your wrath, Moon Goddess. Discord sarcastically spat, running his paw on roughly staring at the hardened cast. Rolling his eyes, the chimera huffed. You should really consider hanging around Parker, Luna. You could have loosened up. He paused upon seeing the glare of the princess aimed in his direction, the clouds outside castle walls growing uncomfortably black. But that's merely a suggestion. Luna ignored Discord's words and kept her horn primed, not dropping her guard for even a moment. But her glare softened occasionally whenever the princess glared at Pierre or any signs of discomfort. This does not go unnoticed, especially Princess Celestia. The said goddess smiled inwardly, adoring the fact that her younger sister, known for not trusting outsiders easily, was acting so protectively when invisible for not from her world. Cassandra's words echoed throughout her mind regarding Spider-Man, or rather Pierre's ability to influence those around him. And over the course of his time in Equestria, Celestia was more than open to admitting how true that fact had become for the village of Ponyville, City of Manhattan, her sister, Elements of Harmony, and her present student Twilight. Considering what lay in the future for her world and Pierre himself, Celestia realized Mount Web's final predictions was coming to light. With a simple nod, she found not to do everything within her power to prevent the oncoming catastrophe. Pierre was an asset and personal friend to Equestria now. It was his duty to watch over every pony in her land, especially the young outworlder. Oh, I so do love it when Celestia's reasonable. Discord huffed, tossing the cast over his shoulder nonchalantly. The following moment, every mare shrieked, horrified at the chimera's actions. Luna's eyes glowed as the snarl escaped from her mouth, and Pinky mimicked her actions, albeit not really the same level of intimidation as the princess. However, before any pony could hope to get their hopes on Discord, Pierre stood from his wheelchair and landed firmly on his legs. All the blood in Twilight's body rushed to her head, a sense of panic leaving the mare feeling lightheaded. Pierre, are you crazy? You can't walk on your... Twilight's words fell into her throat, an amazing sight. Perfectly healed leg. Pierre knelt down and ran his hose over his leg, awaiting any sign of discomfort to surface. But no such thing occurred, prompting the stallion to test the limb in a more aggressive manner. Shifting his weight, the stallion made himself stand upright, but that proved to be rather challenging without his heightened sense of balance. Yet he managed, using his outstretched hooves for an added leverage. Much like his friend, the usually hyper Pinky, Pierre proceeded to jump in place. It must have been a surprising relief, seeing Pierre as healed the nearly crippled Spider-Man. Thanks? Pierre said with a mixture of honest gratitude and utter confusion. Raising his brow, the stallion gave the spirit a questioning frown. This isn't some kind of cruel joke where you undo everything with a stab in the fingers, right? This dead be sick and twisted on so many levels. Well, if this was Bill... Discord stood with his crimson eyes wide, or shaking his head, snoring a harsh, disgusted snuff. Of course not. I'm not a sadist. Applejack rolled her eyes. Sure are, actually. Pierre dropped his hoof on the ground. You know, I'm used to dealing with complete and utter psychos who wouldn't think twice about throwing light grenades into innocent crowds or even right to my face. No kidding, Osborn actually did that. It hurt a lot. You might want to think twice about cutting deals with guys like that. Discard's imagination ran full tilt, playing Parker's execution vividly in great detail. The spirit stuttered. I enjoy the fun type of chaos. Although that's just demented. Discord, you warp people's minds. You make people think the pure opposite of what they do, and you can transform anybody into anything you want. Don't start talking to me about what's twisted or what's not. Twilight politely stepped between the two, taunting Pierre to abandon his upright position and stand on all fours. She glanced at her stallion first, followed by his healed leg, and replied with a small smile, affirming that everything was truly fine with his physical well-being. After a few moments, the mare turned to face Discord, now a glare of scowl but with a conflicted frown. Pierre, the pony who stole her heart, was thus healed from a terrible injury by an enemy of sorts. To say Discord and Twilight had trouble meeting the last time was an understatement. Throwing the entire land of Equestria into chaos was bad enough, but the spirit of chaos made it personal when he turned Twilight's friends against one another. He only succeeded in severing the bond that held the elements of harmony together. She could not forgive him for that, at least not yet. However, her grudge seemed to have lost some of its weight, and a sense of gratitude took its place, hence the birth of the mare's conflicted feelings for Discord. Discord. Twilight paused, searching for the strength to find the right words. Her heart begged for her mind to lower its defense, but it was a small request, considering the depth of feelings Twilight held for Pierre. Something had to be said. Leaving her pride aside, the unicorn closed her eyes and lowered her head out of respect. Thank you for helping Pierre. I didn't do it for you, or him. I simply need Parker to help rectify the situation, and he's pretty useless to me with a broken leg, Discord said dismissively, earning a snarl for both Twilight and Princess Luna, a trait great offense to the term given to Pierre. However, before they could retort, an electrical shock coursed through the spirit's form, causing Discord to yell involuntarily. His breathing grew ragged, assembling a talk skidding across the board. After a second jolt of electricity, the astral spirit took a knee, wheezing as his form proceeded to fade away from existence. Discord could only grunt pain. Curses! He's already... Seeking said, the Chimera stood tall, using the entirety of his focus to keep his dissipating astral form intact. I need more time. Discord paused suddenly, eyes swinging in realization. Sees the whole gang's right here. His form grew more transparent by the second. Yet the spirit chaos made us a smirk. I shall return momentarily. In a brief flash of light, Discord disappeared from sight. Pierre brought his hoof over his chin and furrowed his brow, contemplating what exactly could happen to the Chimera. But a loud, exasperated groan from Twilight disrupted the stallion's train of thought. She turned, finding his merry scowl had not left her features. Pierre placed his hoof over her shoulder. Manzi dismissed Twilight's anger to annoyance, evident by her disgruntled frown. "The nerve of him!" She rolled her eyes and growled. "Who does he think he is, calling some pony useless?" "Yeah, Discord's definitely a jerk," Pierre agreed, finding the Chimera's pompous attitude polarizing. "But he just helped me voluntarily. He didn't have to do that. I think it's only fair we hear him out." The stallion's voice steadily shifted to a stern, calm tone. "Besides, something's obviously wrong. Did you see what was happening to him a moment ago?" Twilight's eyes widened for a moment before her mind recollected Discord's strange behavior. "Yeah, you're right. He seemed to be in pain. I wonder who or what was causing it." "Maybe it has something to do with that Osborn feller," Applejack suggested, stepping between the pair. "Now explain why Discord's so desperate for us to help." Rarity placed her hoof over her chest, concern feeling her crossing her irises. "Peter, you and Osborn have a tragic history. Is he truly as devious as he suggests?" Pierre's gaze fell to the ground. "Devious is putting mildly rare." Fluttershy approached him, placing her hoof reassuringly on the stallion's shoulder, earning a melancholy smile in response. "Girls, I really hope it's not him. He's bad news, plain and simple." Before he could react, Rainbow Dash swooped down and held her place over midair over Pierre's head. "Green Goblin, huh?" She reached down, brushing her hoof through the stallion's mangled mane. "He'll be Black and Blue Goblin if he tries anything with us." "I'm not alone anymore. I have to get used to this." Pierre smiled, exchanging a friendly hoof with the Pegasus. "Thanks, Skills. I know you have my back." Pinky nuzzled the stallion's sides, causing his smile to grow. "Don't worry. If it is Osborn, I won't let him hurt any of you." Let. I'm a little conflicted here. The main door to the throne room opened, causing every pony to shift their gaze in the direction. An Elkhorn with a bright pink coat entered first, light violet irises widening upon spying Princess Celestia. She galloped to her room and embraced the taller mare, rubbing the side of her head affectionately against the other side of her chin. "Auntie! We came as soon as we could. Are you okay?" Cadence, her voice filled with concern. The sun goddess broke away, managing to give her niece a small smile. "Yes, we're fine, Cadence." Once the main door closed, Celestia found a snow-white stallion approaching persistent. "Thank you for arriving on such short notice, Shining Armor." The blue-maned unicorn bowed his head dolorously. "I'm always at your service, your highness." As both ponies acquainted themselves with Princess Celestia, particularly about the developing situation with Discord, Pierre edged over to Twilight, bringing his hoof over his mouth to lower the volume of his voice. "Hey, I meant to ask on the way here." He pointed to Stallion, hoping he wasn't drawing attention to himself. Who is that? A friend of Cadence?" "Okay. I'm alright with the girls not knowing who Shining Armor was in the Camelot Wedding episode, because Twilight probably didn't have a chance to tell them, but they were on the way. Didn't they say anything while they were traveling or while they were laying in the throne room?" With the force of a tsunami, reality struck Twilight with utmost force, evident by the cold blue streak that formed over her snout. In the midst of the gathering chaos, she completely mentioned to her stallion exactly who Shining Armor was. Her mind went into a flurry. Yes, so much had happened since Pierre's arrival to Equestria, but that was only an excuse. Her mind forgetting to mention something as important as this. Unfortunately, this was not the first time Twilight failed to mention Shining Armor to those close to her. It seemed the mistake was replicated, this time with Pierre. She stared at Pierre, worriedly, mouth agape. Mind struggling to find the words necessary to continue, forcing the lump in her throat down. Twilight bit her lip and sighed. "Pierre, this is my big brother." "He's your what?" Pierre blurted out, immediately slamming his hose over his mouth. Sally felt his spirit straight to the size of a thimble. Shining Armor glanced in his direction, but Parker could not repel his state of shock. Sent his sight back to Twilight, Pierre gritted his teeth to an uncomfortably stiff smile. "You never mentioned a big brother. Is he friendly?" "Idiot! Cadence is Twilight's sister-in-law!" his mind added, bringing up a simple, nearly forgotten fact. Of course he has a brother! Well, sometimes. Tully's cheeks flushed with embarrassment. Pierre's expression paled, leaving a cold sheet of white. Sensing his fear, the librarian smiled before placing a hoof over his, pressing affectionately. Don't worry, Pierre. You're a great pony. He'll like you. Are you sure? Do you think he'll be keen on the idea of his sister dating some pony? Pierre made certain to keep his voice low as possible, using his hoof to shield his mouth from prying eyes and open his ears. I hear big brothers are really protective of their little sisters. However, before Twilight could explain any further, Shining Armor stumbled away with a trio of princesses. Twilight's doing what? His voice echoed through the room. Snapping his head Pierre's direction, Shining Armor gritted his teeth, snarling at the only other stallion in the room. With him? Pierre stared back dumbly, cursing the entity that was his Parker Luck. Seconds felt like minutes, and Shining Armor refused to let Pierre out of his line of sight. Scratching his back of his head, Pierre's felt gaze to the ground. Awkward! Thankfully, a bright flash of light erupted in the midst of the room, before the argument could gather any heat, prompting every pony to shield their eyes from the sheer brightness. Once the light dissipated, discord emerged, although his spiritual form appeared to be far more transparent than before, nearly non-existent. I don't have much time. I'll make this as brief as possible. Discord said, wheezing as he held his tongue over his eyes. Closing his eyes, the Chimera held his free hand out, forming a spherical silver-colored ball in midair, the object appearing more solid to the entity who summoned it. An image formed within the orb, revealing a human male with a wicked scowl, one that Pierre recognized immediately. His physique was morphed, monstrous in a sense. Flames surrounded his being, rising several feet from the ground. Oh God, it's Ultimate Goblin! I hate the Ultimate Goblin. I really, really hate Ultimate Universe's Green Goblin. It's like probably 4th or 5th on my list of worst redesigns and fuck-ups the Ultimate Universe has ever done. It looks like the Abomination ripoff. It looks so not good. I mean, it looks like somebody just sat back and thought, what's the worst way we could do a goblin design? I know! And then went in that direction. It's like somebody once said, hey, I got an idea. Let's make Goblin look like an actual goblin. It's just like something a kid would design or say. It just looks so not appealing. I mean, you could have been a little more creative. You could have done anything else. But nope. It's Goblin Monster. What? What? People complaining about the suit on Spider-Man. No. The suit was decent. This? No. No. And Pumpkin Bomb, and instead of having something creative like Pumpkin Bombs, we're stuck with just normal fireballs. Whoopee! Did you spend all day figuring that one out, or did you just whip it out in 5 seconds? I've been captured, and now Norman Osborn has complete control of my power. Again, there's something that's making me mad. There's something that's conflicting about this. Peter felt his fist tighten. Worst fears are coming to life. Stopping forward, he faced Discord with venomous glare. You're telling me that Murr's psychopath has the power to bend reality as will? I will give this fig this, and this does put it 1 point over the My Little Pirates Livy's Adventures in Equestria. At least somebody finally realizes what the problem with reality bending is. Sorry, I get a little pissed when people don't seem to realize what reality bending can do. I'm sorry, I just get pissed whenever people try to pull off the old, I can handle Discord. See, I can beat him. I can beat him. No, you twerp, you can't. If you were really going after him, this would happen. Ah! My blood's been made to pudding! Or, I can't breathe. You're breathing carrots now. Ooh, you're dead. At least somebody got the idea. At least somebody realized the danger of this. Time was of the essence, and Discord had none to spare. The balls glowed bright, revealing the events that brought about this travesty. Okay, I'm really starting to have some reservations about this. A lot of problems. Especially when it comes to Discord's side of things. And I'm telling you, it ain't making me happy. If you remember from my Livy's little side thing, and you remember from my review of Let Them Wonder, I have problems when people try to pull this crap off. Let's not forget what they were doing on the comments of Let Them Wonder when they were trying to say, oh, well, the bad guys aren't exactly, but cool on MLP, especially because they all mostly do is monologue and are over the top. But I'm going to be nice for the next few seconds and let this author have his piece. If I don't like what's going to happen, I'm going to be pissed. So, let's check out part 3 then. I suppose I should start from the beginning. As you already know, don't use as you know as freaking descriptions for exposition! I am Discord, spirit of disharmony and chaos. All I want in life is to have fun and spread chaos throughout the world. Unfortunately for me, the world is full of uptights who are afraid to break the social chain of normality. So in order to keep their boring world in peace, Celestia and Luna have used the elements of harmony to steal away from me for quite some time. Eventually I freed myself and learned that neither princess could no longer wield the power capable of stopping me. Oh, how momentous was this! The only two beings that could fully resist my powers no longer had the means to stop me. To make matters better, they were entrusted to 6 helpless young girls. With my elements of persuasion, I was able to easily best the elements of harmony. Rather, I would have if not for the element of magic. Vic, problem with your description. There's a little bit more to it than just my powers of persuasion and would not have if it were not for Twilight Sparkle. He did break Twilight! Alright, Twilight was down! She was broken! She was gray! She was crying! She was broken! Alright, he did win! If it were not for those letters, then Discord would have had total victory! 2. It was not powers of persuasion, it was trickery! It was trickery, manipulation, and in Fluttershy's case, forced! Did you watch the episode? I could corrupt and separate the other elements at will, but there was something unusual that prevented me from doing the same to Twilight. I'll give Celestia this. She knew what she was doing when she chose her apprentice. Sadly, history repeated itself, and I was sealed away, doomed to spend hundreds of years trapped in stone once again, beaten by 6 teenagers. Excuse me? Beaten by 6 teenagers. What? Beaten by 6 teenagers. What? 16! 16! What? What the? What? 6 teenagers? 6? Where do you get this idea? Last I checked, a teenager does not own her own store, does not basically live on her own in her own freaking mansion or in her own cottage, and doesn't live on her own in her own freaking library. Sick teenagers? Where did you get this idea? No, wait, excuse me. These bronies are all pedophiles. They're sexualizing underage. No! The main six are not teenagers! God! Where did you get this conclusion? How do you come to this? Even the most stupidest, die-hard fanatic I could find would tell you differently. Teenagers? Basic! Bad! Go home! They are not, nor never were, teenagers! Not unless you were watching Equestria Girls, but last I checked, this fic was made before then! So, no, this is not Equestria Girls! They are not teenagers! They are freaking adults! Act like it! Or are you just trying to rewrite history because you suddenly realized that Spider-Man is 19 and you're afraid that having a 22-year-old banging a 19-year-old was a problem? It was certainly a difficult pill to swallow. The ages on this thing are hard to swallow. So tell me, Fick, how old are they? You brought this on, tell me! Fortunately, with almost concentration, mind you, I was able to free my spirit from my body and travel through the astral plane. I could watch events unfold from the real world, but I could not interact with any pony or anything. All I could do was bid my time and plan my escape and hope to find a weakness in the element of magic. I at first believed her friends were the answer, but I dare not try the exact same plan twice. Chaos could not become predictable or recyclable. Certainly, I would find something more potent. I was tempted to use shiny armor in my plans, considering how close he is and his sister were. It was perfect. So his friends could bring her so low. Imagine how she would feel if her big brother, best friend, turned against her. The poor thing wouldn't have the will to do anything, let alone oppose me. However, as I was, I couldn't influence any pony. Luckily, the chaos from the Candlelight Wedding and Somber's return gave me some of my old strength back, but it was still sorely lacking compared to my deity standard. Yet I still feel confident that I would be able to return in a few months. So with some time to spare in the astral plane, I began to test my limits in an attempt to broaden my powers of influence. That was quite troublesome, really. Without my body, I could barely control a fraction of my powers. I was forced to improvise and find some pony who wouldn't resist me. This is where Ifrit came to play. I figured including some chaos into the world would help add my strength. All I needed was a strong arm and simple-minded stews to do the dirty work for me. A dragon seemed to be the logical choice. They were large and could spread chaos with their presence alone. But I just couldn't use any dragon. By all means, no. Ifrit was probably the largest of his species. Those black scales of his had such an intimidating tone. With a little persuasion, he would make for a perfect minion. I managed to strengthen Ifrit a bit before I sent him to Ponyville. I only wanted him to spread the message of my return throughout the village and scare the locals. A relatively harmless task, honestly, but once that blasted beast destroyed everything in sight, I found I still had the power to control Ifrit completely. The best I could do was bring that dragon back to the astral plane. Fortunately, the spell would take minutes to conjure up in my weakened state, something I fear Ponyville didn't have. I suppose it was fortunate that Twilight grew desperate and summoned Spider-Man to our world. It was able to hold Ifrit off long enough for me to bring him back to the astral plane. That time, I chose to train the dragon in the hopes that I could learn to control the beast. But the next couple of weeks showed little promise. However, Ifrit was savage, wild, and bloodthirsty. Obviously, his idea of chaos was vastly different from mine. Okay, so let me get this straight. We first started him off as a spirit, and now he is an actual dragon that you found. Can I have a retcon? Then an idea occurred to me. Since a violent creature had no right to even associate with the likes of yours truly, In hindsight, should that fail, I had to search for a contingency plan, especially now that you had a vastly powerful ally. Then an idea occurred to me. If Twilight could bring an ally from another dimension to help with her cause, surely some pony with my level of power could do the same. During the night of the Grand Galloping Gala, while Celesta explained Pierre's past to you all, I leaned in and immediately found a valid candidate to help me. It seemed Osborn knew exactly how to get under Spider-Man's skin. If I could control the so-called Green Goblin, he could incapacitate Peter, and I could easily send them both back to Earth. However, I couldn't control him quite yet. Some point his genius would prove something of a challenge. Bullshit! Bullshit! Okay. Osborn is a genius. I don't mind that. I won't disagree. He is pretty smart. But the way you're acting like he's some sort of Dr. Doom level mastermind. He ain't! Look, I don't mean to say this like I'm trying to insult Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. No. Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery is second only to Batman in terms of my favorite. They're creative, they're fun, interesting, and a good majority of them could hold up a movie on their own. But in comparison to the rest of the Marvel Rogues and all those villains, they're not that powerful. As you can see when Dr. Octopus one time went up against the Hulk. The Hulk fingers flicked him and knocked him halfway across Las Vegas. He went down easily. Norman Osborn, while a genius and a criminal mastermind when he's Green Goblin and when he's a genius as a human, is not Dr. Doom. Let him be an evil scientist. Let him be like, say, a guy who shows up on Spectacular Spider-Man. That I'm okay with, because, that's pretty smart. But to go this way and suddenly saying that, oh, Discord could barely control him? No. Saying that his genius would be a bit of a challenge to control? That's going too far. That's ignoring what makes him Green Goblin. You can't do that, Vic. You can't suddenly give him a supervillain upgrade and expect it to work. But unlike that beastly freak, Osborn wasn't open to negotiation. When I mentioned you, Spider-Man, Osborn practically jumped at the opportunity to get even. All Norman requested was just for a few days to gather his allies. I obliged. The moment I came back, I would have enough power to control Osborn and the Sinister Six, as he labeled them. It was a crude but simple plan. He used the cretins to drag you away from Earth. Unfortunately, I had no idea Osborn had plans of his own. The moment I returned to their dimension, Osborn had a man named Octavius blast me with a particle beam of sorts. No! Stop you right there! No! Oh, we're going with this, aren't we? We're pulling this shit out, aren't we? We're pulling this bullshit out. The villains from the show that I like are better than the villains of the show that I'm crossing over. See how much better they are? See? No! I don't see! As a matter of fact, all I'm seeing is somebody waving their dick in front of my face and trying to tell me to suck it because they think I like it! Well, guess what? I don't! Have them be on par! Have them work together! But to pull this shit out? No! I don't even care if Discord's weaker! No! Having a normal human Osborn being able to pull this crap on Discord is an insult to Discord, is an insult to Osborn, is an insult to me, the reader! You're just basically pulling shit out of your ass just so we can have this plot! Which, for some odd reason, I feel like you are pulling it out of your ass just to make me think it's good! It isn't! Why? Just, why? If this was Doctor Doom, fine. Mandarin, sure. Bill Cipher, fine. Those guys I would be okay with. But Osborn? No! I wasn't... Okay, I was partly enjoying this, but now I'm just hanging my head just going, why? Had a man named Octavius blast me with a particle beam of sorts. Not only hurt my astral form, somehow, but rendered me unconscious, somehow. When I awoke, I found myself trapped in a pod. For a strange reason. Oh, there's a reason. It's called Mikan syndrome. My powers wouldn't work due to the pod's intricate design to negate all forms of magic. Next thing I knew, those people were experimenting on me. I'll spare you the elongated details of how that went. Intricate design to negate all forms of magic. What, did they get Dormammu to help them or something? With my unique energy signature in their data bank and a transdimensional portal in their possession, they had a means to travel to Equestria. Unfortunately, Osborn failed in medicine, his attentions to his allies, modified the doctor's machine, holding me captive to extract my power and transfer it to his body. This was probably the only time I was grateful for my weakened state. Osborn was only able to acquire half my power. Oh, and by the way, no, just no. This is stupid. The other half remained in my physical form. It didn't take long for Osborn to create a tracking device. That's the first reason why he's coming to Equestria. First, he'll acquire the last of my power. Second, he'll sell his vendetta with Spider-Man. You know, one of the things that ticks me off about the Anti-Conspiracy Bureau fix is whenever they say, oh, we smashed Discord's statue and now he take him out. No! How many times must I tell you people this? Reality bending is not something to just simply wash over with a... Oh! Well, there you go, Dai! No, it's reality bending! How is this so fucking hard? Boom! Your entrails are outside your stomach! I guess every single one of you who ever gets a damn idea to think that reality bending is something to laugh at, go and watch Gravity Falls, and then watch us how Bill Cipher proceeds to kick ass! Then come back to me and tell me how unrestrained reality bending is just something to ignore or resist! Until then, don't fucking talk to me! Slime! However, the Sinister Six learned of Osborn's double cross. They intended to make use of Equestria's vast resources, particularly the supply of diamonds, and hoped to take over after Spider-Man was dealt with. Oh yeah, I can see how well that'll work. Behold, I am Otto Octavius! Oh, my tentacles are tied up! Hi, I'm Mysterio! Boom! I would love to see that work! A conflict of interest, you may. When their numbers are combined might, it would have been simple for the Six to take down Green Goblin. The poor fools. What do you think you're doing, Norman? Octavius asked, spotting his compatriot near the transdimensional portal equipment. Constantly approached Osborn with his metallic, tentacle arms raised defensively. This is not part of our plan. When his arms crossed casually, Osborn paid the scientist no mind as his brown eyes scrolled across the complex machinery before him. Before he could respond, the ground shook with each step approaching from behind. Once the tremors ceased, Osborn stole a glance out of the corner of his eye, finding a rhino standing behind Octavius. A shrug of his shoulder, Norman immediately passed both men as an inconvenience, unfolding his arms and placing his hand over his machine. Osborn allowing fire to build in from his palms. Grrr! Suddenly, two more men entered the room, leaping from the second floor, but they maintained their respective space in midair. The older pair reached into his sleeve and retrieved a grenade. juggling it, while the younger male extended his arms to the side, allowing vast amounts of electricity to pour from his body. Okay, so our current Sinister Six team is Osborn, Electro, Rhino, Vulture, and Doc Ock, and Rhino. I like this team. I just wish it was being done better. Vulture and Electro hovered over Octavius while keeping their sights on Osborn, who kept his back turned to everyone. Finally, a loud click prompted Osborn to cease what he was doing. He turned, finding Kraven with a rifle aimed sorely at his skull, and shot. Wait a minute! Shouldn't that be the Sinister Seven then? The Sinister Six is usually just the 6 members, not being led by somebody. The Sinister Six closed the gap, leaving no possible room to retreat open. But Osborn smiled wickedly, gripping the machine. Gentlemen, your services are no longer required. I have transcended humanity once again, Osborn stated, pouring the heat from his body into the machine. It is God's will that will kill Peter Parker, and whose will is above mine now? Smoke escaped from the machine as the circuits fried, causing flames to burst within. The metal burned, morphing into a shade of orange before it finally combusted, leaving the once complicated machinery reduced to a melted scrap heap. However, Octavius, who worked tirelessly on the machine, managed to sport a smile. You're clearly a full Norman. It is quite fortunate that I see the blueprints for the transdimensional portal. Tapping his fingers on his forearm, Octavius scoffed. I'll create another after we end your miserable life. Okay, what electro voice should I pull off? Okay, gotta think. All of us have a score to settle with that little punk! Electro added as he twisting his body channel to his hands. Like we'll let you have all the fun! Hey, it's Electro, I gotta be over the top! Osborn turned to face the group. His skin mutated into a grotesque shade of green as his hate ultimates Green Goblin so fucking much! As his muscular structure thickened, transforming Slender Thrame into a bulky, monstrous one, pupils in his eyes disappeared before his corneas matched a fiery orange flame spreading from the machine. Osborn's smile grew, revealing his sharpened fangs as well as his height, which suddenly dwarfed everyone in the room with the exception of Rhino's. His transformation complete, the Green Goblin turned his gaze to Electro, ignoring the other members of the Sinister Six. You speak as if you have a choice! The comment prompted everyone to open fire on the psychotic monster. Vulture threw the grenade at Goblin's feet. Granted, I like this team of Sinister Six, though. I mean, Shocker, Kraven, Vulture, Electro, Doc Ock, and Rhino? Pretty cool team, actually. Just as his body was wrapped in an explosion, Electro fired several bolts of lightning into the dust cloud. Kraven held his rifle firmly as he fired the entirety of his clip at Goblin, but before he could reload his weapon, Shocker saw a blast, causing the last of the machinery and closest wall to collapse, seemingly crushing Osborn under his weight. Slowly but surely, the smoke cleared. Small embers escaping from the rumble scattered across the room. However, a shockwave erupted underneath the debris, sending several pieces of rubble flying across the room. One of the chosen stones smashed into Kraven, incapacitating him instantly. Green Goblin revealed to be utterly unscathed, laughed maniacally. Electro prepared to launch more bolts of electricity at Norman, but Osborn snapped his fingers, cutting a pipe to tear through the wall, and hosed the man down relentlessly with water. Shorting out in a massive spark, Electro fell limply from the air. Vulture flew to the highest point of the room until his head nearly touched the ceiling. Just as he prepared to retrieve another grenade, Goblin snapped his fingers, turning the feathers on Vulture's arms into solid stone. The older man tried his best to maintain flight, but the sudden increase in weight proved too great, leaving Vulture to crash and unwillingly create a smaller crater in the ground. Rhino charged forward with his lead forward, preparing to spear Green Goblin, but another snap of the fingers and Osborn's body began to glow suddenly. His muscles expanded, prompting Norman to let out a feral roar before rearing his back. Inches away from each other, it seemed a collision was evident, but Osborn lunged forward and drove his fist at Rhino's horn, breaking the appendage. He immediately followed with a haymaker into Alexi's jaw, sending the man-beast flying to the ceiling. Before anyone could hope to react, Goblin launched a fireball at his foe. An explosion erupted throughout the night sky. Rhino disappeared in a fiery streak that edged across the sea until colliding upon top of the building. Sucker hopped to his feet, extended his arms out in Goblin's direction. However, before he could fire a shot, Osborn waved his hand once, causing the devices on Sucker's arms to disassemble and fall to the ground. Stunned, Sucker raised his head, only for Goblin to punch him immediately afterward, sending him through the nearest wall. Electro groaned as he struggled to gather his bearings. Once he turned over his back, Osborn's massive foot landed on his chest, knocking the wind out of his foe. Lightning coursed through Goblin's body, intensifying until several bullets pierced the building. And none of the Avengers noticed! However, Osborn stood tall, unfazed by the show of power. Although, to be fair, sometimes these villains from Spider-Man's Rose Gallery could end up destroying half a city block, and it doesn't seem the Avengers pay attention. True, but that's merely because Spidey usually gets to them first, and you know how it goes. Police officers pick one, and unless they call for backup, the police officers don't usually do anything. Time to extinguish your spark, he coldly muttered before raising his hand high over his head. Like a hammer of God, Osborn brought his fist down with absolute force. He stopped, holding his palm inches away from Elektra's face. Unexpectedly, the electricity in Elektra's body began to dissipate, channeling to Osborn's hand in the process. Once the entirety of his powers were drained, evident by his pale, naked form, Osborn forced himself. Oh God, it's ultimate Electro! Cool, but still, he's naked! But not before delivering a swift yet merciful backhand to hinder Axel unconscious. This is but a taste of my power. I am truly becoming a god! A wooden beam soared across the room, shattering upon impact as it smashed into the back of Osborn's skull. He turned to direct an attack, only for a metallic tentacle to strike him across the bridge of his nose. Goblin staggered, planting his foot to regain his balance. Octavius emerged from above, tentacle arms perched against the columns of the wall to maintain his position. A wicked smile formed on Osborn's face before he extended his hand out. Each tentacle stretched out to its respective extent, leaving Octopus's body to hang limply from the support as he levitated above the Green Goblin. While one hand held the man in place, Osborn extended his free hand over Octavius' face. Flames began to build from his palms, causing beads of sweat to form over the sides of his forehead. Goblin stretched out his fingers, in return doing the same to the tentacles. He strained to stay intact, creaking profoundly to exclaim their protests. Octavius grated his teeth, struggling to withstand the pain he was enduring. Deftly, Osborn lowered his hand before something gruesome could occur. However, the flames in his hand continued to grow, threatening to engulf the face of Dr. Octopus. Osborn, stop! Octavius yelled, attempting to squirm free from no affair. It's only through my intellect and will that you can travel to your destination. If you kill me, you'll never have your revenge as Spider-Man. His breathing grew crazily frantic. I can! Norman wrapped his hand around the doctor's skull before he could finish. As the flames burned away his flesh, Osborn cackled maliciously through Osborn's muffled screams. My good doctor, I don't need your silly machine to reach my goal. Reality bends to my will. Osborn tightened his grip. Don't worry, I won't kill you. I just want to make sure no one follows me. Just like that, Osborn defeated the Sinister Six. Fortunately, there were no fatalities, but I could guarantee Octavius will almost wish the worst happened. Regardless, Osborn destroyed the facility and all traces of my data, and any that could lead to its location. He retreated to an undisclosed locale later, taking time to expand his techniques using my power. With his genius intellect, Osborn's already found a way to transfer us through dimensions. But the only thing that can keep him from Equestria right away is that his biosignature conflicts with my magical force. Osborn can't hold my power for more than an hour without straining his body. That will not change. Consider it my way of helping a lot of you.
CC's caught on what I was doing. Luckily, he couldn't kill me. Had he, my powers would have gone with me. That's the only reason why I'm still alive right now. Whenever his powers reach a critical low, he has to manually drain me to achieve them once again. During that recharge period, I found a way to send a piece of my spirit away from the pod. Unfortunately, as I prepared to leave, I found Osborn creating a device to hold my spirit once he could movably freed about. A storage unit that may. With that, he would have no further need to recharge his energy, with me constantly hooked to his being. The device is small, but extremely vital to Osborn's plan. It'll be hooked to the back of his neck. Should you break it, I'll be free. The device design is intricate. It will take 28 days to complete. The moment it's completed, Osborn will come to Equestria. As Crystal Empire is the most important source of magic in our world, that is where he'll arrive first. And that is where we stand now. I was really enjoying this fic.
28 days, Celestia murmured, Violet gaze falling to the ground. She nodded, taking in what little good news that was offered. At the very least, this gives us time to form a strategy. Before any point he could form a statement, the crystal ball shattered, disappearing as each fragment broke away from the plane of reality. Discord's form continued to fade, threatening to blend in with the surrounding environment. But as the spirit merely nodded, knowing his outcome was inevitable, folding his arms, Discord only huffed. His fate, as well as the world's, was in their host now. Glanced over to Pierre, who was quiet during the duration of the explanation. Discord's eyes widened in late realization. Extending his paw, a small pair of gems formed out of thin air, levitating instances away from Pierre's face. One was a ruby rose diamond, carved with a silver outline along the edges. The other was a jade triangular gem, hooked onto a golden chain to resemble a necklace. As the Syrian reached out, it took both gems in his hooves. He gave the spirit a befuddled look.
Hey, if you're trying to swoon me, it's not gonna work. I'm happily spoken for,
Pierre said, smiling at Twilight,
getting a roll of the eyes from Discord.
Discord's waved his tongue dismissively. They are not your average gems, Parker. I created those jewels to help you defeat Osborn. He said hastily, his time drawing near. Magically remove the silver lining from the ruby, and you'll be turned to a human. That way, you'll be able to fight on even grounds with Osborn. And if you touch the jade gem as a human, you'll return to your pony form. It's quite simple, but be careful. Both jewels can only be used once.
All right, I trust you.
Pierre trotted over to Princess Luna, surrendering the gems over to her. As he used her magic to place them in a secure location, Parker stood to his side back to his spirit.
Maybe this will take you not to make a deal with Psycho again.
Why not, Doom?
Really?
Be sure to lecture me when, or if you beat Osborn. Discord's body finally faded from existence. I suppose I'll be cheering for you, Parker. Soft chuckles could still be heard, echoing throughout the room.
I hope shining armor doesn't ruffle you up too badly.
Every pony watched their mouth agape as the Chimera disappeared from sight. News was past, and now they had a month to prepare. Celestia and Luna conversed, deciding on possible strategies they could follow, while Kane spoke with the elements of harmony. Pierre, however, frowned, hanging to the stain the life must have felt for him. Osborn was already a deadly adversary. This supposed upgrade was only going to add to the danger. Yet there was hope. Pierre's body was healed. His powers were returning. And above all else, there were friends prepared to stand with him during this troubling time. 4 weeks were more than enough time for him to figure things out. A small smile Pierre nodded, confident fate would work in his favor. But a shadow sculpts his small frame, bringing the stallion to find his mere spinning brother hovering over him with a snarl. Osborn has forgot-like powers now, and I feel pretty confident to face him. He gulped, forcing a lump down his throat to his demigods. It was nothing compared to the wrath of a big brother.
I think my chances are better with the Osborn than this guy.
Firstly, Twilight stepped between the pair, making certain to maintain eye contact with Shining Armor. Pierre, don't worry. I'll talk with my brother. You go back home, okay? Pierre's eyes widened as he held his hoof out defensively.
Are you sure? I want to...
Sadly, Stallion could not finish his protests. Instantly, in a bright flash of light, the environment surrounding Pierre changed. No longer in the confines of Caroline, Pierre stood helplessly outside of Twilight's home in Ponyville. Threw his hoods over his head before screaming at the top of his lungs, "Oh, come on! I'm getting really sick of that!" It was that the entity known as Parker Luck heard his cries of anguish. The front door of the house opened, and out appeared 3 little fillies, all of which Pierre remembered vividly. A spider sense blared, warning the hero of danger.
Wow! Peter Parker lost his powers, and we held attention for all of 1 chapter.
But Pierre, still stunned for the unwanted trivia was getting, couldn't react. The sleeve belt tackled him to the ground with her hooves wrapped around his neck.
cheek pressed against the stallion's affectionately, and her grip seemingly unusually tight. Look, everybody! Peter's back! Slee squeaked, unaware the stallion had bemused expression on his face. I miss you so much. She paused, stammering out to correct her sentence, but maintained her sound gripping embrace. We missed you. Skulu placed her hoof over her mouth, stifling laughter. Sure, we did. Yeah! Applebloom cheered, rearing her head for Pierre's prime farm. She held her hoof out, prompting the stallion to gaze in his direction. His brow furrowed, displaying a small pony mark over his coat. Red mane, pink streaks, and her side of her face. She easily spotted the freckles on her face. She smiled, shyly glancing away before settling her sight back to the older pony. Applebloom placed her hoof over her shoulder. This is my cousin, and you Crusader by your side. What time is it? A bee of sweat rolled down the side of Pierre as it flew on her head. Oh God, they're multiplying. It was a trying time indeed. His friends couldn't bail him out of the situation. Pierre forced himself back into a standing position. Skulu galloped ahead of the group while the others remained close to their leader. Everyone laughed happily. Bass smiled at Sweet Belle, who nuzzled at Pierre's side. Stallion followed the girls, managing to smile earnestly. Osborne was on the way, and Pierre had something to protect. Of course he could have fun too. His upcoming battle was potentially going to be his last, and Pierre would make certain to spend as much time as possible with those he cared for. Ta-dam! Dawn of the 28th day. Okay, guys. I need a break for a few minutes. Tomorrow, Thursday, last of the Dragon Lords. I need something to clear my head.